Joining me now is a man known as the Lazy King, Abdoul Abdouraguimov. What's going on, man? How are you?
I'm good, thank you. And you? How are you, Nolan King and the Lazy King today here?
The long-awaited King and King interview, man. I appreciate you doing it. It's been I know we've talked
Yes,
a few times in the past. It's been over the phone though, so it's nice to get to see you. And I know looking you up and trying to find you online, there hasn't been a ton of English-speaking interviews that I could find. So I'm sure our audience will like to hear from you as well and be able to see you. So talk to me about how you're doing. Obviously, you got a fight coming up here, and I guess how's life over in France, right? You're in France right now.
yes, I'm living in France and I'm doing good. Training camp is going well. The 20th of January is going to be the fight, so everything is very good.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I
absolutely.
am I am a Dagestani. I live in France since 2009. I I discovered MMA, all the sports here in France at the age of 16 years. Now I'm 27. At 16, I discovered wrestling, freestyle wrestling, and at age of 21, I began with MMA directly with professional fights.
Yeah, man.
I
Well,
didn't have amateur fights.
yeah, no, I'm glad you jumped into the background there because I know you've kind of been all around, right? So you've been around the world. I guess where do you kind of when you step in there, do you feel like you're representing a lot of different places? Do you feel like you're kind of carrying the French flag? Where do you feel like are the countries backing you right now?
I feel like I'm representing myself and my family, so I'm not attached to any flag. I'm a world citizen, because I'm a lot of traveling with my family. I was in Germany, now I'm in France. So I'm not attached to a flag or to a country. I am an open-minded guy, so I present when I enter the cage, I present myself and my family.
I love it. And 21 years old, you start training MMA, and here you are, and you're already kind of sitting at the top of the kind of, I don't want to call you a free agent, but the fighters on the verge of the UFC. You're kind of the name that everybody brings up. I guess how did you end up kind of doing this so quickly? I mean, we see now there's fighters that start when they're 5, right? And here you are. You started when you were 21, and how old are you now?
27.
27. So 6 years, you're already got a great record, and you're knocking on the UFC's doorstep. How do you feel like you did it so quick?
Um, I began at first place just for fun. I like it, the MMA world, the fighting. At the gym where I was doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, I saw some fights on the internet, and then a lot of time I in my gym was a guy who was let's do some MMA, and I liked it, and then I thought why not to try some real fight in a competition. So the beginning was just for fun, just to try, and after even myself, I was surpassed by all what's happened. Directly they gave me my third fight, Cage Warriors veteran champion. I didn't even know his name because I didn't know much about the MMA world, but I accepted it because I love the challenge, and I won, and then so it's going on. At my sixth or seventh fight, I had again another veteran from UFC, Andre Viscard. He was out of the UFC because of some doping problems. So even this fight I won, and at this point I began to realize that, man, I'm now at a serious level. It's serious, because at the beginning it was just fun, and then I was making a change by my mind. It was more professional. I was doing this to make money, and now here we are.
Yeah, absolutely, man. We'll get into to kind of some things about your nickname and stuff in a minute, but I want to ask you too. I know when you started, right? I think you had told me it only took you a couple months to kind of get your blue belt, and at that time you were kind of not necessarily I don't want to say not taking it seriously, but you in the gym were, a guy that started to get that Lazy King nickname. So can you kind of talk to me about that attitude, the whole Lazy King nickname, how it came about, and I guess what it means to you? You seem to embrace a word that maybe some other people would kind of take the wrong way, you know?
Yes. Yes, my blue belt, I get it in 2 weeks, 1 or 2 weeks. I don't know. For me, everything when I started, it was easy for me. So I started with wrestling. Uh, Same thing directly from the beginning. I was winning some serious competitions and so. And then with grappling and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, the same thing. I just like it, and I never take it too much seriously in my head. So, and my name Lazy King, they came from my friends because I have a lazy character. It's lazy but smart. I'm ready to work. I'm ready to hard work and so all the stuff. But if isn't efficient and so, I don't want it. For me, it must be efficient and optimized. So I'm a smart lazy. So I want to be smart. I want to be efficient always. So that's why I'm lazy. If it's just only to work hard without turning the brain on, I don't like it. So that's why I'm the lazy king. So I try to be always efficient at my work.
Yeah. And in day and age in fighting, you kind of need to stick out too. And I think, Lazy King, it's authentic to you. It's a great nickname. It's, everybody knows, everybody calls you that versus your regular name. So you're doing something right. But do you feel like in the mentality of being lazy, like a lot of people would think that's a bad thing. Oh, he's lazy. He doesn't work hard. But for you, do you see some sort of benefit to kind of being laid back to being lazy, like mentally?
Yes, yes, I see. For example, to be lazy, you're gonna get less injured and so because too much work is never good. Too much of everything is never good. I see some amateur fighters, they train more than me. They train 4 or 5 times a day. I at my beginning, I always trained only once a day. The more often I trained was twice a day and not every day. So for me, you must to be smart. And in my case, I try always to be smart to be the more efficient as possible. So with all the work I do, look where I am. I can fight against fighters who can train twice a day, but they're not more powerful than me. They're not more smarter. They're not. At the end of the day, we're the same. So why work more than you need? So that's my philosophy.
Yeah, I love it, man. And where did the well, I guess it makes sense, but the sloth emojis. I always get every time I talk about prospects in MMA, all these people in my DMs and in my comments with this lazy king sloth emoji. Was that something that people started to kind of send you, or did you embrace that as well?
Yes, because in some point of my fight, I was hanging in the cage, with my head down, with my feet on the cage. I don't know how to explain this.
Yeah, you
So
were kind of upside down, hanging with your legs
yeah,
were hooked around the cage, right?
yes, yes. So since then, people with the slot animal, they came.
Yeah, I love it, man. I love the whole thing. But since we last spoke, I talked to you before your last fight, and there were big things on the horizon. You had the fight, you had UFC Paris off in the distance, and you felt like if you went out there and you won, which you did, that you would kind of get that ticket. And I think a lot of people were backing you. A lot of people were very surprised that you ended up not being on that card. So I guess the real question is, why hasn't the UFC signed you yet? Have you gotten any sort of explanation?
Yes, this is the real question. Even I myself and everybody around me, we don't know. It's a mystery. UFC is a private company. They do what they want. So uh, honestly, I don't know why. Today it's a business, and you have to know some. some good people in the world to get past, you know. So today I don't have this kind of connection, strong connection, you know. So that's why we're still waiting. But I'm a guy. I want to stay positive no matter what happens. So I will do my job, and we will see the opportunities going to come to us after each fight. It's always something new that comes. So we will see, and we are very positive, and let's see what happens.
Yeah, for sure. And I guess, you know, when I think about you and when I scratch my head and say, why haven't they signed him yet? I guess there was a few things that pop in my mind. There's nothing like contractually or travel wise or anything that would prevent you from signing with them, right?
No, everything is with my papers. Everything is all good. I can travel. I can do all is okay with my papers.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I just know with the obviously with the pandemic and everything, it got a little wild for some of the European countries there with traveling. So that was something that came into my brain. But I did see that you ran into Mick Maynard at the out in Paris. Is that true?
Yes, I was in Paris and I saw him on the street, and I went to talk with him a little bit, and he said, "Yes, I know you," and so, but he doesn't have the power to make decisions.
Yeah, yeah. And I think Sean Shelby's also kind of the guy that manages your weight classes as well. So he would probably be
Yeah,
the one you would want
yes.
to bump into on the street, but maybe in the future. I guess if you know for people that haven't seen you fight, or if the UFC, if anybody from them sees this clip, I guess what do you feel like you would bring to their organization if they were to sign you tomorrow?
It's obvious I will bring the lazy show to the American people. I'm the lazy king, and I'm making the lazy show. There are not much fighters who can fight and who can make a show. I can make the both. You know, I can talk in English. You know, show me a lot of fighters came from Dagestan, Russia, who talks English and who are not shy to talk. I'm not shy to talk. I'm not shy to make a show. You know, performers and so. And I'm not shy to fight also. In my fights, even myself, I don't know how it's going to be finished. You know, I myself, in one of my fights, last fight, I was surprised. I had a triangle, inverse triangle choke. Even myself, I never did it in my life. So I'm very creative, and you can expect the unexpected.
I love it.
That's
Yeah,
the lazy show.
if anybody hasn't seen your finish of Gato Fredo Pepe, definitely go find that one on the internet because that's pretty crazy. So I guess from here on out, what's kind of your plan? You got to fight January 20th. I guess you're just kind of focused on that, and hopefully that's the one that pushes you over the line, right?
Yes, we will see. And January 20th, this fight is going to be for at second belt at this organization, RS, the weight class above my normal weight class. Normally I fight at welterweight. This time it's gonna be at middleweight against a Polish fighter who's ranked 35 world in the world rankings. So it's gonna be an interesting fight to
Yeah.
take a second belt at another weight division.
Yeah, obviously, the more wins and the more belts, the better. You know, that's for Aries FC. Obviously, a great promotion over in your area. I saw you were at one of their events not too long ago. You were doing all sorts of backflips in the crowd. I've never seen anything like that. I guess what was going on there, man? I feel like that might have been the opposite of the
Yes,
Lazy King for once.
at this night I was watching the fights, and there were potential opponents. If the two guys who are watching the fight wins, one of them may be gonna be my next opponent. But they both did a boring fight. There was some, strikes to the head, behind the head, and so it was a confusion here. I stood up and I talked to the fighters, and then the crowd gonna begin to call my name, and this excited me, and I went to the crowd and do some backflips, and so I say, even myself, I never know what I'm gonna do. I'm a guy, I can get excited in a minute, and then I'm gonna do something crazy.
Yeah, that sells itself. Where do you feel like, again, when you look at the MMA landscape right now and all the fighters in your division that are in the UFC or in Bellator, PFL, where do you feel like you are right now? Because I think a lot of times when we talk about prospects, we talk about guys that are, improving and they're gonna maybe one day be a champion. But I feel like the thing that's rare about you is I feel like if you were to jump in the UFC right now, I think, for my personal opinion, like those top 15 guys would have some struggles. You know what I mean? So where do you feel like, how good do you feel like you are at this exact moment in time?
Honestly, I feel myself very at the top level because I fought some of the best guys on the world. Because it's not always in the best organization where you find the best guys. The best guys, they can be anywhere. So most of the time, it's the fights at the organization where it's not known, and so you're gonna fight hard fights, because the doors to the little organization are more open, so it's easy to enter. So you can have weak guys, but strong guys also. Anybody can enter. And the UFC is a very restricted club, private club. So, for example, look, if I want to enter, they don't let me because I don't know some person at the club. So that's why I think it's in the UFC for me, it's more easier to fight than at some not known organization in the world where we can fight some unknown guys who are going to be some beasts. And so for me, so I have seen almost anything at my career. I've seen some guys on steroids. I've seen guys technically very strong and with a very big background experience. And so today I'm ready for anything. So I'm feel that I can fight it with anybody at the top. So of course it's never easy, but I'm ready for any challenge.
Awesome, man. Well, I guess let's end on this. This is your first fight of the new year, 2023. What kind of goals or feelings do you have coming into this year about what 2023 is gonna provide you?
My goals, like always, I want to win a lot of money, because this is a business game. So it's all about numbers. So I need the right numbers. I want to improve my bank account. So that's the goal, to be better than last year. I have more money at the bank account, so to live a comfortably good life. The American dream. That's the goal.
I love it, man. Well, I appreciate the time. This was fun. I'm sure we'll be seeing more of the Lazy King face to face on MMA Junkie in the years to come. But Abdul, really appreciate the time, man.
Thank you very much. And American people, here I am, the Lazy King. Like you can see, I am very rare specimen kind of people from Dagestan, but I'm a world citizen. So let's go, ladies and gentlemen. Lazy people, make some noise for the Lazy King. Maybe we'll see you soon in America. Thank you.
Love it. Cutting promos, send it off. Thanks for the time, man.